Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim Burgess with Maximizing Results. I want to welcome you to the webinar today, How to Double My Sales in a Changing Market. That almost sounds preposterous. It almost sounds too good to be true. I'm not sure I can do that. And if I were to ask you, do you believe you can do that? You might say yes, but is the feeling no? You might say yes and believe it, but you just haven't done it yet. So what I want you to do first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, is remove all distractions. The best thing you can do for yourself right now is to silence your phone, close the office door, and just pay attention to what we have to talk about today. This isn't going to be long and drawn out. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's very elementary, but one does have to take action. And I know that, oh shoot, right there, we might have lost half the people. We must take action. If we don't take action, nothing will happen. First thing I want you to do, I want you to think. Think for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Think. We are experiencing changing times. Things have been altered. There's no question about that. Things are different. Now we must set our course and make certain of the direction we're going. It's not difficult. It's once again, pretty simple. Imagine what your life is like when you do double your income. And once again, I know that I'm bumping right into the belief system for some of you, but stay with me on this one for a minute. Better vacations, more giving to charities, better relationships, more order in your life. Give your imagination a mini workout for a second. It will not hurt. I promise it won't. See, a gentleman that works with us named Gary, he did exactly this. And he actually doubled his income. He doubled his income. And he did it working less hours in his business. And you can too. Gary's a normal person. And in the beginning, Gary probably didn't think and imagine that he could do that. But he just went with it. He got his mind wrapped around this. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing these changing times. And things will be different. It's just the way it is. No big deal. And once again, my name is Tim Burgess, and the reason that I want to share this information with you today is because of my own experience with this information. So in 1980, I dropped out of the 8th grade, and I promise I'll keep this short. For the next 16 years, I bounced around from job to job, driving, truck driving school, over the road tractor trailer driver, I loved trucks growing up, but I did not want to do that as a profession. But I'd like to take a quick moment and thank the drivers that are out on the road. Because without them, the products that you enjoy in your house today called food, you don't have. It's just that simple. So in February of 1996, I replied to an ad for a sales job. I'm lost. I'm just wandering around, and I run into this network marketing company that became the fastest growing privately held company in the United States. This company, the founder of this company took it from $0 to $195 million in just 4 years. No, I'm not telling you that to try to impress you, not in any way, shape, or form. What I'd like to do is impress upon you the information we talk about works. There's no question. That company taught me so much, and I was able to work directly with the founder of that company. He became my very first mentor. So I go 16 years of wandering around aimlessly, drop out of the 8th grade, and I meet this very wealthy man who had Lamborghinis and airplanes and estates, and he has all this stuff, but he also had life. He had true wealth, not just money. And he starts to mentor me. Well, about 3.5 years later, I found myself as a real estate agent. And in December of 1999, I jump into real estate full time, not really knowing what I'm doing. List 17 houses my first month, 92 transactions my first year. And ladies and gentlemen, I didn't double my income. I did 604% increase because of the material that we'll share with you today. I literally made a transformation in my life from the left picture to the right picture, and it was all because of this gentleman's mentoring through the principles of a book called Think and Grow Rich. Now, many of you have heard of this book. Once again, we have participants from all around the world, and some of you may not have. My bet is by being here, you know about this book. 1937, all began in the early 1900s at the direction of Andrew Carnegie when he commissioned Napoleon Hill to do a study on the success principles. And what the common thread through all the major league wealthy people of the time, what was the common thread? And Napoleon initially wrote in 1925, The Laws of Success. In 1937, he does the revised edition of that and calls it Think and Grow Rich. But the one thing that I can go back to that my mentor told me, the first thing that would have to happen for any improvement in my life in any area, the first thing that would have to happen is I must get my mind right. You've got to get your mind right, he said. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know what he was talking about 24 years ago. I had no clue what the guy was talking about. But as I look back on it now, I know exactly what he was talking about. The first step to doubling our income will be to get our mind right. Now, I know for some of you, you may think, good gosh, man, I thought you were going to give me techniques, tactics, and all this other stuff. Well, those will come, some techniques. I mean, we've only got a short period of time. They will come. But step number one is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, if we don't do this right here, if we don't take care of this, you can forget about the rest of it. It cannot happen. Here's a very, very wealthy man who told me this, and he came from not the best of beginnings, not the best of habits in his past. And he said, you got to get your mind right. And the one thing that I had to get my mind right around was a concept, this concept. You see, ladies and gentlemen, whether you own your own company or not, every one of us should look at it like this. Our number one job, period, end of discussion, is to satisfy our client. Now, I didn't say the client's always right, and I didn't say that we just bend over and get killed by the client. I said our job is to satisfy them. Number one, and the next thing we do is take care of our company. If we don't take care of our company, who will? My responsibility right now is to represent maximizing results in an ethical, integritous manner. That's absolutely a responsibility that each one of us should accept and take and carry. The next thing I do is take care of my team. Take care of my team. If I'm not taking care of my team, how could the team take care of me? If I'm not working with them for their growth, how could they help me with my growth? And then it comes down to me. Client, company, team, self. See, my mind was not wrapped around this. The whole time I spent in the 90s in the network marketing industry, my mind was not around this at all. It was all wrong. I put me before everybody else. And that's not the way it works. We have to have a servant mentality. Now, what does that have to do with doubling your income? Everything. Absolutely everything. But let's make sure we point out something here. This doesn't mean we're at the bottom. It doesn't mean we come last. What this means, ladies and gentlemen, is you and I are the most important part, period. End of discussion. You and I are the very most important part. We are the foundation. And it doesn't make any difference who you are, a C-level executive, president, vice president, regional manager, general manager, local manager, department head, or supervisor, or a brand new associate. It matters not. Everybody should become part of the foundation of this organization. And everybody should grow from within, because when you and I grow from within, we build a stronger team. When we build a stronger team, we build a stronger company. When we build a stronger company, we satisfy more clients by providing better service. And then we can share in the increased profitability. But ladies and gentlemen, my mind wasn't right around that at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. I didn't look at myself as part of a foundation. I didn't look at myself as the most important part. I didn't look at myself as I need to work on me to become stronger, to become more aware, to become better in my skills. I didn't look at it that way at all. But only by myself doing that can I build a stronger team, since I'm a member of that team. I have to continue to grow. So when I got my mind right, wrapped around that piece of the puzzle right there, and I had developed skills over the 3.5-year period of time of working with this man, I increased my income 604%. And you can do the same thing. The first thing you have to do, though, is plan. Oh, I got a plan, Tim. I got a plan, okay? If you can show me, and this is Napoleon Hill's words, in one of his lost lectures, he said, if you can show me your detailed purpose with your detailed plan, by purpose, he meant your goal. Where are you going? And your detailed plan to get there, he says this, I'll show you a person who 90% of the time will accomplish that goal. And most of the time, they don't have the plan. So plan, practice, prospect, and persistently follow up. Now, we'll get to each one of these in a minute, but that's the 4 Ps to doubling your sales, along with something we'll talk about at the end. You can have these 4 Ps. You can plan your day. You can practice your skill. You can prospect, call people. But if you don't do a couple of things with that, it won't work. More on that in a minute. So what is success? I mean, every person on the line has their own version of success, right? And Earl Nightingale in the 1950s had a great definition for this, and I'd like to share it with you if I could. It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So the question is, what is your worthy ideal? What is your worthy ideal that you are progressively realizing? What's that have to do with doubling my sales? Everything. Need a little motivation, don't you? Need a little inspiration? We should all be motivated by just the sheer fact we get to live. But inspiration comes from what? Your desire. More on that later. Now, success is about producing results. But most people, as soon as they see that word, they think money. We're talking about all areas of life. In maximizing results, we want to help you maximize your results in all areas of your life, not just your bank account. But yes, definitely your bank account as well. But it's about creating results in all of these areas of life. Now remember, the book is called Think and Grow Rich. And I think that we want to increase our results in all these areas of life. So we probably want to know, how do we think? And for those that were here last week, or those of us that you know, you've seen our material before, you know where we're going with this, but can you answer the question, take somebody through it? So, and are you utilizing this tool that you have to the degree that you can? So how do we think? We think in pictures, very simple, very elementary. Think of an airplane, think of a hot air balloon, think of a sports car or a yacht, think of your gym shoes, think of a pair of socks, think of a washer and a dryer, think of your dishwasher. It doesn't make any difference what I ask you to think of. But now think of your life 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. 20 years down the road, what does your life look like? And with that, what does your mind look like? We are talking about images on the screen of the mind, right? And remember in the 1930s, this guy named Dr. Thurman Fleet, he said, mind is an activity, not a thing. And since no one had ever seen the mind, he would create a vision for us to work with so we could eliminate the confusion and bring clarity. And he gave us this and said, you have a mind and a body. What does this have to do with doubling your sales? Everything, ladies and gentlemen, it has everything to do with it, because if you don't create a clear vision, an image, and see yourself as that person doubling your sales, it probably won't happen. So this little graphic has an enormous amount to do with you doubling your sales. There's no question. You have a mind and a body. You have a conscious and a subconscious. Dive into Think and Grow Rich with us, and you'll understand the difference there dramatically. It's incredible how obvious it becomes. In the conscious part, you choose your thoughts. In the subconscious, you feel. You have feelings. You have emotions. And you can alter those feelings with the way you think. But make no mistake, those feelings will dictate the action the body takes to produce the results. So if one wishes to enhance the results, you have to enhance the thoughts. And by enhancing the thoughts, you'll enhance the action. Make no mistake, without the action, nothing happens anyway. It's the action. So I have to believe that you would not be here today if you didn't wish to enhance the results. You wouldn't be here in any way, shape, or form. I mean, Gary doubled his results. But the first thing he had to do was get this very basic elementary concept down right here. The first thing he had to do, whether he fully realizes that or not. So let me ask you a question. Do you allow your results of the past to dictate the way you think today? Yep, sure do. And I can say that, and I've been studying this material now 24 years, ladies and gentlemen, and there's no question that the results of the past absolutely dictates the way that we think today. And if we don't alter that, we'll get the same results in the future that we got in the past. You would not be here if that were acceptable to you. So how is it that we get different results? I mean, Einstein told us this, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, and each and every one of us has done that. We've all done that. Darren Hardy said it extremely well in his book, The Compound Effect, when he said small, smart choices plus consistency plus time will equal a radical difference in results. Now, we know this is true. Think of going to the gym one day a week, or think of going to the gym every day. Think of, eating healthy every now and then. I mean, those are small, smart choices, but the difference in results is radical compared to if you went to the gym every day and you ate healthy every day, and every now and then you might miss a day, and every now and then you might miss a healthy meal. But think about that. It's so true. So let's take a look at that. Let's really drive this point home if we could. You get a check for $3 million right now, or a penny, your choice. And that penny doubles in value every 31 days. Most people in an instantaneous society grab the check. But if we take a look at what this penny does through the compounding, it doubles every day for 31 days. You've got $10 million plus. So take a look at this chart, ladies and gentlemen, because most people won't stay the course long enough to go vertical. To think about it, most people follow up. We have sales associates from all different industries with us today. It doesn't make any difference. The majority of every sales associate out there does not follow up enough, does not follow up efficiently or effectively. So they can't take their career vertical. And if you're doing all of these things right, think about your emotions, think about your happiness, think about your conveyance of that, but more on that in a second. But think about it, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a hard concept. You've got to stay the course to get there. You have to apply it to planning. The compound effect, small, smart choice, plan your week. Apply it to practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, professionals practice their skills, make no mistake. Doesn't matter what profession you're in, apply it to prospecting. Yeah, prospecting is game time. If you want to double your sales and you're not prospecting with the right attitude and the right intensive action, standing up with some mojo going, I just got to go make the donuts again. That attitude usually won't get much done. Prospecting is game time and then persistent follow-up. Oh, without that, truly, I hate to be this blunt, but you know me. You were here last week, or you know me somehow. If you're not going to follow up, get the heck out of sales. Do yourself a favor and every other sales associate, just get out. Let's think about this for a minute. In the plan, no successful professional would ever start a project without a plan that's definite. Ladies and gentlemen, you would never start out on a vacation without knowing exactly where you were going, how you'll be getting there, how much time you'll spend there, a budget for the vacation, and probably months of planning with a perfectly clear vision of where you're going, all the brochures, everything. You get yourself immersed in it. However, ask that same person for a detailed plan for the next 5 years of their lives, and they look at you like you're a zoo animal. They look at you nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, we have all heard without a plan to succeed, there is automatically a plan to fail. Where is your plan to succeed? Is it in detailed writing? And if not, why not? And if this is the first time you're hearing this, okay, great. If it's not the first time you're hearing this, hopefully this will jar something to get you to create that plan. And think about this one. No successful professional actor would ever consider stepping out onto the stage without exhaustive rehearsals. Not just rehearsals, not just a little role play, exhaustive rehearsals. A professional athlete, you think they'd go into a competition or go onto a field without hours of preparation, practice, or repetition of their skills? In the times we are in right now, do you really believe they're sitting around idle? I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, successful sales professionals need to practice and role play like any other professional who wants to be at the top of their game. I mean, it is truly that simple. I can drive this point home over and over and over again. It's that critical. How do you double your sales? You have to get a little better than you were yesterday. I'm not talking about all at once you make this magnanimous change. I'm talking about small, smart choices plus consistency plus time. Practice every day. Practice and role play are critical if we want to be true professionals. And think about this one. No successful professional sales associate would ever consider going through their day without prospecting, would they? Or connecting with a new lead for their product or service? I mean, truly, if you're not going to prospect, once again, do yourself a favor. Get out of sales. Just truly, we as professionals need to prospect and connect with new leads every day we are working to stay at the top of our game. Ladies and gentlemen, every day, if we're working, and that's what we do, we're a sales professional, we need to connect with new leads. If you're not prospecting, you're out of business. It's just that simple. Practice, role play, and prospecting are critical if we want to be true professionals. And then all of that, you can do all of it. And if you don't do this one, persistent follow-up. Yeah, we spelled follow-up wrong. I get it. On purpose, though. Figure they spell knife with a K. We can spell follow-up with a PH. It's kind of cool. Think about this, though. No successful professional sales associate would ever consider taking the time to create a good lead, and then the heck with it, don't follow up with them. However, statistics show us that most all sales associates do not follow up at all, or they follow up minimally, 1 or 2 calls. Ladies and gentlemen, some statistics, or the same statistics anyway, show us 80% of all sales take place between the 5th and the 12th contact. If you want to be really, really good, practice, and practice your follow-up. We as sales professionals need to follow up and stay in touch with new leads every day. We're working to stay at the top of the game. That's just the way it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the fortune's in the follow-up. Practice, role play, prospecting, and follow-up are critical if we want to be true professionals. They're critical. If you want to double your sales, you put it right here's your recipe. Is everybody still here? Man, there was a big number here. Yeah, everybody, here's your recipe. No exaggeration. You want to double your sales. And I don't care where you are right now. This will do it. You take these 4 P's, and 3 hours a day, you do not allow yourself to be distracted in any way, shape, or form. And you practice, prospect, and follow up. Oh, it can't be that simple, Tim. It can't be. Well, if you take the proper action with the proper attitude and the proper mindset, and if you're taking those hours in the morning and it's not working, and you adjust them to mid-morning and then to late morning or maybe mid-afternoon or early afternoon, and you make your adjustments, yes, that will work. Now, depending upon where you are in your income level, you may have to do it for 2 blocks of time for your prospecting and 1 block of time for follow-up every day. You may have to do 3 blocks of time for prospecting. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about this. Eric Hoffer said this. He said, in times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. Now, how appropriate is that saying right now? How appropriate is that? In times of change, are we changing? Are times changing? The learners will inherit the earth. The learners are the ones who continuously grow. You study material that'll help you continue to grow. You figure out this thing called success, because it is a puzzle. Make no mistake about it. Success is a puzzle. And we'd like to offer you an opportunity to join us as we go through the success puzzle. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't done this in years. Years. Well, I've been certified with Bob Proctor's material since 2007 or 8, something like that. I'll have to look at the certification to tell you for sure. But this is one of the systems. I was looking at this system and looking at it with the mastermind group of Maximizing Results. And we decided, right now is a great time to offer this again. This thing doesn't have a huge price tag by any stretch of the imagination. And it'll put the pieces of the puzzle together for you to help you create that life you want to live. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to change something, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure we understand that. I know that, you know that. This invitation went out to, good gosh, I don't even know how many all over the world, and not everybody is here. That means obviously people had things to do today. You chose to be here. You chose to learn this. You want to grow. We'd like to help you do that. So we are putting together a group of people to take them through the success puzzle. Once again, this is one of the entry-level systems. It's put together by one of the best teachers in the world. When it comes to Mr. Proctor, there's no question about that. The man's in his mid-80s. He put this together quite a bit of time ago. I believe it's an 80s product, but let me make no mistake. Make sure you understand this. This material is as timeless as Think and Grow Rich is. Remember, this man's been studying Think and Grow Rich since 1961, every day. Everything you see in Mr. Proctor's material, you see Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. He just brings it to light. He brings clarity to it. And then when you have experts like Mr. Lindemann and Josh Burgess who help you go through it, oh my gosh. Experts that have been studying this material years now, years. They'll help you understand this in ways that you never thought. Doubling your income? Shoot, double it this year, double it next year. Simple. Not even hard. Ladies and gentlemen, we're offering this, and once again, a very ridiculous price. It's so low, I'm having a hard time we're actually doing it. And we'll get in touch with you. I apologize that somehow, some way, I don't know where the pricing page went, but it disappeared on me. But it's 11:30. We promised you we wouldn't be longer than 30 minutes. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. And one last thought. Please allow this day that you're living right now, to be the very best day you've ever experienced in this game we call life. We can do that as we go through the day with a mind full of peace. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. May God bless each and every one of you. Have a fabulous day.